Saluto a tutti.
What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC. I'm Alberto. I'm joined by Trim and Omer. Of course, this is the AJC, your channel dedicated to Juventus and never, ever a dull moment. A ton to recap in this past week's news, all right? We've got an announcement for everybody as well. We're going to have a lot of fun. And the Mercato Madness, well underway, everybody, all right? And some of the underlining feelings around it, as you can see in the header, is we're getting a message, I think, being sent out by Motta and Giuntoli. And like everything around Juventus, we have fans on opposite sides of the fence there in terms of how they see it. And some think maybe coming in a little too hot, with the guns blazing there from Giuntoli, maybe in some certain treatment to certain key players, etc. Some feel changing too much, but whatever it is, we're going to tackle it all together here, everybody. All right, so first up, Omer, Trim, how you fellas doing?
Phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Wow.
Yeah, important week ahead. You were leaving for Germany. We're probably going to see some moves. Deadpool and Wolverine is coming out. I mean, lot to look forward to.
There you go. There you go. Trim, how you doing, my man?
Oh, another beautiful Saturday morning here in Toronto. The sun is shining. We got a family barbecue upcoming today, so I'm looking forward to that after the show. Talk some Juve with the fam, but first things first, man. We got to get to business. Let's roll.
There you go. There you go. Gonna say what's up to everybody in the chat too. All right, Pino coming in here. Buongiorno, salute, tutti Juventini. Giuseppe coming in. Good morning. Forza Juve picking up their new home kit with Taram on the back,
Nice.
saying one of the best home kits since
I like it.
17-18.
I'm getting mine tomorrow. I just got a message like a half an hour ago from UPS. Exactly the
Beautiful.
same. Turam home
it.
kit will arrive tomorrow.
There you go. And if he doesn't hit the ground running, I know who to blame. All right. So there we go. And we got
Blame me anyway.
Norbert coming in here. Hey guys, Swarit, Giratina, 70, Alberto, Omer, and Trim. Let's go. Let's go. Dream team. Yeah, we've become kind of the Mercato Madness panel here. Okay. So, we got
The usual suspects.
some of the other
That's
guys
it.
still in the fetal position, getting spooned by their women, sucking on their thumbs still. Okay, so it's all good. We take care of business for all of you. We do have an announcement, okay? So we talked a bit about it on the last show, and I'm just going to put it out there because today is the big announcement day. We have become official partners with Playback TV, all right? So get the app. You could set it up on your desktop as well, all right? But this is a great initiative, a new kind of software platform. What does it do for YouTube? Nothing. It doesn't change anything we do here. What it does is add on to it because the room is called AJC Extra, and it's still going to be Juve, but it's going to be also more Serie A based content, all right? And we are going to be bringing in our partners representing other clubs, and yes, it is going to be fun. It is going to be Serie A roundtables. It is going to be banter, all right? But it will also be an extension of what we do here and looking at the other clubs from the eyes of Juventini. The link to our playback room is in the description to this video. We hope to see you all there. One of the big tickets about it is something we've tried to do through here, which has always been a little bit not challenging, but not quite the way we wanted to execute it, and that's getting all of you more involved. Playback TV offers us the call-in shows to work flawlessly, all right? You can now request to join in shows, get your points across through just simply audio, or if you want to jump up on video too and take part in the live stream, you're able to do that too, and it's going to be fantastic for all of us as we want to connect even more with our community, all right? So again, hope to see you all there. There should be a live show there, potentially as early as tomorrow evening as well, all right? So that's one of the announcements there. Second piece of business. Now, Berto, at my age, my memory is starting to get an intermittent short, okay, as I like to say, all right? But there was a young fellow, a fan, okay, over in Australia, Antonino, who actually shared the same birthday as me on June 28th. All right. And I heard how chuffed he was to find out that he shared the same birthday as me. All right. And I love the support and everything. And I said, I didn't get a chance to give the shout out because I didn't know about it until after our birthday, etc. But Antonino, I know your father, who's a beauty of an individual. Okay, great Juventino. Number one, always listen to him. But I know he's going to be watching this and seeing this. This season, I am going to gift you a kit of your choice with the player of your choice, Antonino. Okay, so there you go. I was maybe late, but happy belated birthday sharing with me. And yeah, we're gonna hook you up with one of the kits this season. Okay. Now,
Do you have any? Do you have any Juve player on the same date as you?
I
Better
don't
check that.
think so. The biggest thing for me is Del Piero signing on my birthday. Antonino, hey, we got ADP signing
Yeah.
1993, June 28th.
Nice.
Yes,
Take
Trim.
that.
How about you?
I don't know. I'd have to look back. I'm January 27, so I don't know if any of the lads were born on that day, but I'd have to look back in the archives to see.
Yeah, I have Trezeguet like 2 days ahead of me.
Nice.
Like he's on the 15th of October, and I'm on the 13th. But I do have an entire movie centered around my date, like 51st Date with Adam Sandler, where she relives the same day. So
Yeah.
that's my birthday. So
That's
no
funny.
interesting celebrity, but a movie is nice.
Yeah,
That's sweet.
there you go. There you go. And now these guys with the kits, starting to talk about who's made of money. No. But you know what? You guys know that there's sponsorships. We're partners with, several entities out there, and everybody wants to ramp up the show and everything. So there's advantages we do have in order to make these giveaways special. And always it's about showing love to all of you. So yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay? We're taken care of, and we're taking care of you. Now, we start things off. I got to talk about this. I just got to get it out of the way. Did everybody see the black and white song from Tia Tia there? And we got a new segment here, and it's called Hit or Miss. Okay, so hit or miss on this song. And we're gonna start. Omer, hit or miss.
Well, I'm a metalhead. I like clicked it, and it took me 3 seconds to shut it off. So yeah, that's a miss. I didn't even watch like 5 seconds of it. Definitely a miss.
Definitely a miss. Trim, hit or miss.
I was watching it. I don't know why. I was out yesterday, so I couldn't really listen to it. But I just like pulled it up, and I'm just like, just based on the visual, I'm like, no, it's a miss. Like I couldn't handle it. I'm like Omar. I'm a metalhead as well. Like it's typically my genre of choice. So no. But I mean, like, hey, anything to get exposure out there. I mean, good or bad, she's a Juventina clearly, so. I mean, it's nice, but I wouldn't go as far as saying like it's one of our anthems or anything like that. Like, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe one day Fagioli rolls into training and he's blasting it or something. You never know, right? The guys might pump it up a bit, but I just can't see it. Can't see it.
The thing for me is it's bound to happen because the content creator lab is pumping out so much, and the majority of it's been really good, but there have been misses in there. And some of it can be cringe, and this is definitely one of those times where it's just it's a miss from me. It's not hitting home with me. I'm just not that style of fan. You guys know, I'm a little.
Maybe we're just old.
What's that?
Maybe we're just old, and it's for the younger.
I don't
audience.
think it has anything to do with old. I just think like the song itself. Like I think it's.
Yeah.
I see it, and I guess maybe age. I see it very juvenile. Like I don't know. I just. It's a rainbows and butterflies type thing, and I'm like, nah. I need something a little more. A little more fire to it or something. So like, I don't think anybody's walking around with that. Chanting that, or I don't think any tifosi are going to be singing that one in the stadium. No. But hey, to each their own. Now, hit or miss the kits. We got some comments coming in with this one. All I'm going to say about this one, you guys, like the home and this are a hit for me.
Yeah.
But this kit, no picture. Watching it right now in your video doesn't do it justice. I'm telling you. You gotta see it in person. It's absolutely stunning and unbelievable. All right, so those are the two hits for me, and we've all agreed. We've talked about it. The away, it's better than any of the pictures we've seen. And when you get up close, you see the details in it. It's better, but it's still a miss. It's still a miss. All right, but now Malta. Let's kick things off with his presser, boys. Okay, I thought there was some substance to it. I know we're still at the honeymoon phase, everybody, but my God, there's some things that we're seeing examples of immediately through it. And I actually was a big fan of the presser. But before I get into my takes, I want to get your thoughts on it. And we're going to start with this one with Omer. Omer, how do you feel about Malta's presser?
Well, those pressers are kind of generic, I guess. Like those first interviews, they gotta say the same thing unless they're being pushed. Like if you've seen Conte yesterday, uh, which I actually respect what he did, but Motta wasn't pushed based on the question. Like the only interesting one was what about Chiesa, but that's about it. So yeah, it seems like he's pumped. It seems like he's just willing to go. And I found Giuntoli's answers were a bit more interesting. But either way, I'm like pumped. Everything they say, I'm like, fuck yeah, let's go. No matter what they do. So nice hearing him talk a bit about Juve and stuff and what the objectives are. But beyond that, there wasn't any real substance to it, for me at least.
Okay, I'll talk about the substance when I get there. I think there was a couple pieces. Trim, your thoughts on the presser?
Yeah, no, it was good. Like I'm a big Motta fan. Obviously, everybody knows in our AJC members chat. By the way, if you're not in there, definitely hit up Berto and try to get in there. We have some pretty good discussions, and it's a good time. But yeah, like I'm a really big fan of his already. So I mean, like just to hear him kind of embrace the Juventinita and just say like, yeah, like we're trying to win. All the, like Omar said, it's the generic things, but the one thing I think that stood out to me the most was that he has a clear idea, and he mentioned how he just wants to make the fans and the team proud after every game. Now, I know it's not maybe realistic because there are going to be some stinkers of a game. I mean, it's natural, it's human. Like you can't always be at your best, but the fact that he wants to go out there and push this team and push the other team around and try to kind of impose their will, so to speak, and not sit back like we've seen in the past with Allegri style and previous regime style. Like that's something for me enough to be excited about. He's not gonna. He didn't really answer or say much in terms of the players. I know there was a question about Chiesa and some of the other guys. So it's kind of natural that he didn't really answer those or didn't really speak on that. What Giuntoli said about adding one more player for each role, was interesting because it depends on how you kind of interpret that. But the last thing I just want to touch on is I saw a lot of fans kind of barking at the fact that he said, oh, the minimum objective top four. Like, again, what do you want him to say? Do you want him just to come out and be like, we're going to win the Scudetto? Like that is the minimum requirement or minimum objective. Obviously they want to win. Calvo even stated like they're set up to win and try to win every competition. That's what they want to do. I don't know what more the fans expect. Like, I don't know. I found that to be very nitpicky for people to like nitpick at that. Like last year, it's a different story with Max after 3 years and going into year 4, like, for him to say just make top 4. But again, it's pre-season press conference, introductory press conference for him. So I don't really know what people are expecting, but I'll let you take care of the substance, because I know there was quite a bit in there. But yeah, like
there's a couple pieces with the substance. Like for me, number one, he just like accepted exactly what he's gonna take on when he says, no, it is 100% about winning. All right. So there's nothing like, that's as direct as you can get. That yeah, it's just he knows what he's going to face here. He also said criticism is expected. And honestly, like, it's part of the gig. Like, he's got a full understanding. There was some question marks about how he's going to come into this club. How is he going to face 5 competitions now in total? How is he going to do all this? Like, I said, where do you think he spent his career days playing? There was big clubs right there in the mix. He's going to be well aware of the environment. So number one that was big that I saw there was the understanding of the environment and where he's at. So the approach was spot on in terms of those. Then when he was asked about the individual players, something that stood out was that he answered it practically the same with each player. And that was acknowledging their abilities and saying that, yeah, this squad actually has talented players. But he kept on highlighting with each individual player that was brought up, he was consistent, and he kept bringing up the collective and the team and stating that while these guys are great individually, it's about the team first. And once you solidify that, the individual qualities will take over and benefit and then shine. We've actually seen that. So I understand fully that it's honeymoon phase still with him and even Giuntoli. And I know it sounds weird with Giuntoli, who's been here a year or whatnot, but he's really just starting to actually get into his job because of the financial restrictions that were there previously. But this is still honeymoon phase for both of these guys. But there is substance in him talking about the collective because we've seen just in training, early days of training, what he is doing in terms of all these guys are training the same. You're seeing Pinsolio run midfielder drills, for Christ's sake. Like, he is about the collective. It is maximum participation from each guy that is there. Maximum output, maximum participation, and I love it. And you could see that, and it gives you this level of belief in the words he's saying and that he's not just feeding you lines, because you've seen a little bit of what's going on behind the scenes. And then you get the last little tidbit that I absolutely love, and that is I look little at age. And that's going to be big for the roster that we have. And even some of the guys, one of the guys we brought on, some of the guys we are going to potentially be bringing in, but it's all about what you do on the pitch. That to me is like a little bit of a symbol of no more complacency. Like, it's put up or shut up. And it doesn't matter who the guy behind you is, what age he is, whatever. It's going to be all about that team collective. And all of that comes together. And that's why I do think there was some good substance in there from Motta. And I like it. I thought it was a great presser. And again, believable for me because of some of the things we're seeing in early days of camp. In terms of how it gets back.
We have the list of the players that are going to Germany for the training camp. We'll get to it later.
Yeah.
So you know.
We got a little bit to back up with that with Giuntoli, okay? Because that's the thing is, and I've been stressing this a lot out there, is that for the first time in a while, it seems like we've got guys at the top that there isn't confusion. There isn't disarray. It's like the two of them seem to be cohesive, and hopefully because they've just started working together, but it looks like they're going to both be walking the same line and the same direction. While Motta was connected to the Chiesa out thing and all this and whatnot, I've never believed it was really from him because there's a level of money ball that we were playing here. But in terms of Motta saying, I want a team that other teams fear playing. Bringing back that fear factor and whatnot, of course, it's got a long road to go, but it's going to be night and day already because the blueprint on beating us or giving us problems was laid out easily for the past 3 years. Okay. So even that adds an element for opponents next season to try and get ready for, to try and figure out. but I do like it. When you get to Giuntoli, boom, another one. No matter the fact that Marotta can see in all different directions at all times, all right, he still didn't see Giuntoli on this one, and we pick up Cabal, okay? Nice little surprise pickup, okay? On the cheap, 10 mil, 2 in add-ons, in extras, etc. Very, very cheap salary, okay? What is it, 1.3 to 2029, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. This guy, again, the traits make sense for Thiago Motta, okay? We needed somebody to come in at fullback. You took one from under the nose of Inter, who is working on a very, very tight budget there. So he took one from under their nose. He seems to fit Motta and what he's going to want to do. And he gives us coverage, and he's versatile. Versatile can't be understated because that's one of the things almost all our pickups right now have had. But this, it's a cool pickup. I'm not going to make a mountain out of it or anything, but my God, that is low risk. It's low risk, and the guy turned some heads. And if Marotta was looking at him, it's probably a good indicator and a good sign. But I like this one out of the blue. Your guys' thoughts on the Cabal pickup out of the blue?
Yeah, so obviously his childhood club was Juve, illustrated by all the photos he had wearing a Juve kit. I believe that was a major, thing that made him choose Juve over Inter once Juve came knocking. I don't know where Juve first made contact with him, but it seems like the transfer happened in 24 hours. Like the first time I heard his name was on, what was it, I think Wednesday, and on Thursday was already a Juve player. And interesting, you gotta pick some of those players. He did the same with, like, he brought Di Lorenzo from Verona and to Napoli. So you gotta fill in the roster. This Cabal guy seems like he was ecstatic. Like, he, looking at his video of his first day, it looks like he was about to cry at any given moment. So yeah, that's the type of profile we need. That's one of the guys who will appreciate what he's got and the chances he has right now playing for Juve. Seeing him play, I haven't seen him play a whole lot, and if I did, it's been very unmemorable. But he's a young guy. I am expecting to see something different. He played for Verona, who for most of the season battled relegation, and so I'm not, putting too much weight on it. We'll have to wait and see. But either way, a versatile player, a young guy, another Colombian, maybe Cuadrado in a mask, I don't know. But still, nice signing. Another fullback, a position we discussed tons that we're needing some more players there. So nice signing. Let's see how he does.
Yeah, absolutely. And Trim, your thoughts on the Cabal move?
Yeah, I mean, it came out of nowhere, obviously. I saw there was one picture where they had him in an Inter shirt already before the deal was even done, and they're saying it's done and dusted. Next thing you know, Juve sends out the tweet that they've signed him, and I'm like, all right, this sounds pretty good. So, yeah, I haven't really seen a lot of him in terms of him playing at Verona last year. But, yeah, to touch on what Omer said, I mean, young guy. I'd rather personally go for a young guy in that position who's versatile and can play in the middle or as a fullback, rather than going for like a veteran presence, because I feel like we have that solidity already with the players that we have in Bremer. Gatti can fill in Danilo, so it's nice to kind of give the opportunity to another young guy to back up Cambiaso on that left side if that's where he's going to start off, or as a potential rotational center back, depending on what else happens in the market. So yeah, from the few videos that I've watched, like, his position as a defender, he looks like he can defend well, and he's a tall guy. So, I mean, I know there was a comment in the comment section about his offensive stats. I mean, who knows? Playing for a different coach like Motta, that can actually increase now because he's playing a different style, right? Like, we don't know what Verona style was, and I can guarantee it wasn't anything like Motta. So you never know, man. See, like you said, it's low risk, high reward potentially. You never know. So I like it. I like the move. And again, the last and final thing is the guy loved Juve, wanted to play for Juve. If there's a player out there that's pretty good and we have an opportunity to get, and he loves our club and wants to play for us, I'm all in.
Yeah, it just made sense on a lot of accounts. The fact he could play on the outside, the fact he's versatile enough to play as a center back too in a pinch when we need it. The finances absolutely make 100% sense. There
Yeah.
were a lot of question marks from the fan base out there wondering, why are we spending this money if we're going after a big target? Why take that away? Because the big targets we've known all along, they need a sale. So this doesn't affect anything. This is with the finances we already had available to us this window, and you needed help in that position. You needed some coverage. So for me, this is absolutely fine as a depth signing. Absolutely love it. It has the potential to be more than just a depth signing, and he could very much battle for more minutes. So I absolutely have no issues with it. At the Cabal, at the Motta presser, and while they talked about this surprise pickup of Cabal, we also heard about the official goodbye to Adrien Rabiot. All right, so see you later. All right, get
Au
out of
revoir.
here. Enough's enough. 8.5 million demands the captaincy armband or whatever. What kind of a game were we playing? You know where Juve fucked up? This is where Juve fucked up. Juve fucked up by making this guy think he's actually way the hell up here, okay? And that's the unfortunate part about it. But with Rabiot, like I said a couple weeks ago, if he were to renew and it was at terms that Giuntoli was okay with, it would have been a luxury for us in that midfield. Would have turned out to being a luxury if we're being honest. But there are a lot of fans out there that think we are going to miss him. And there is a gap left in the midfield that isn't going to be filled. I am not personally one of those. I absolutely have no problems saying goodbye to him. And I just have always had this issue with the money based on what you get. And I do like the optics of this from Giuntoli's perspective because he set a deadline. The deadline passed, and it was done from there unless he dropped down in salary. And you know what? That's fine. Absolutely fine. It's over. We set deadlines. You don't meet them. We move on. And we did. So on. Trim, are we going to miss Rabiot?
I don't think so. Nope.
Yeah.
I think the team is better off. I think for our new coach Motta and his style, I think the players that we've brought in and potentially bringing in hopefully one more player, we've totally revamped that midfield. You can group McKennie in there as well. Like losing those guys to me, it's not. We're not losing a Barella. We're not losing a Jude Bellingham. Like I'm sorry for the fans that really appreciated these guys and everything they did for us. Like we all understand that, but at the end of the day, it's about improving the team and getting better, and that's what we've done. And if you can't see that, you're just going to have to wait and watch it for yourself this upcoming season, because I can guarantee you this team's going to be a hell of a lot better with the midfielders we brought in.
There you go. There you go. Omer, we going to miss him?
No. I'm not going to miss him. I guess there are people out there who like Rabiot. Maybe it's because they like the way he plays. Maybe it's because they like Allegri. Maybe it's because he has been one of our more solid midfielders in the past year and a half, let's say 2 years. But that's an indictment of how bad Juve were. I mean, Rabiot, all respect to him and what he's done for Juve, but he's not fit to like Pjanic or Khedira Boots, let alone Vidal, Marquisio, Pogba, Pirlo. So if we want to progress, yeah, we need better players. We need to start building better players. And Rabiot, at his age, proved what he can do. He's not going to be better than what we've seen from him. And Giuntoli drew a line in the sand. That's something I really like. Really like. You have a chance to play for Juve. There is the offer. You don't have time for wishy-washy, just all those fucking things they're doing, trying to get more money and all that stuff. You have a chance. You either take it or Juve moves on. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Maybe same goes for Calafiori or other players, but if you have a chance to play for Juve, you better take it or it's gone. We have other players on our list. Now full focus on Todibo. whatever. I don't think Rabiot was all that good. I don't think Juve would miss him. We just need to see a better midfielder to forget about him. So thank you for everything you've done, but you're not worth the money you're asking for. You haven't proved you need a pay raise to play better. And let's see where he lands. I'm assuming it wouldn't be Real Madrid or whatever. So time will tell. And maybe I'm wrong, and people will tell me later that, see, we were right.
Yeah.
Maybe
Giuntoli,
maybe it will happen.
the hard line. I like it. I like the deadlines he set. And, we are going to talk a little bit about Keys as there's more kind of to it getting added on week by week by week. But that's another one of these scenarios. But with Rabiot, it seemed like there was a stance there and there was a deadline once that passed. Onto Thuram, etc., whatnot. Giuntoli gives me a no-nonsense vibe. Okay, and that is key for me right now because something that I talked a lot about last season was the culture. But that plays a big part in reestablishing the culture. He's already, for me, embodying kind of this feeling that, Juve is a club of the magnitude we as fans hold it up to be. He's starting to act on it. And he's starting to send these little flyers out there and putting clubs and putting players on notice. This is a good thing. We've had a roster that seemingly was full of complacency. I think we're getting a good indication that we might have had a situation where the inmates were running the prison type scenario based on their self-valuations and what these guys are asking for and what they're getting for offers on the backside of it. I think that speaks volumes for where Juve has been and how they've been operating over these past few years where we've been frustrated. I think it's all there. It's all there in front of us with what they're seeing for offers. So for Rabiot, I don't care ultimately, but I am very, very curious to see where he lands and what the financials are when he does land. I am curious about that. All right. Yeah. Because with Chiesa, I'm a little bit surprised, but I knew going into that scenario, he had little leverage. And I called it from day one. Like, him and his camp don't have that leverage. But Giuntoli seems to be very much in tune and locked in. And so far, he's been on the money, in my personal opinion, with what he's doing and how he's moving. I think all the moves. And like I said, you have pockets in the fan base that have different beliefs. You have some pockets that think they're not impressed just yet. You have some pockets that think he's maybe pushing too hard a line. And that comes in with the Chiesa thing, Sule, etc., because we're getting rumors we're going to sell both of them. I actually think what Giuntoli's doing is fantastic. I'm going to go to this real quick because I think he nailed this one right on the head too, okay, by bailing out on this. You got to bail out on this, okay? What the heck? Cornrows? Kala, come on, my man.
That's Makikatsu. Black and white song.
Makikatsu. Yeah, you listen. That's exactly the hairstyle I picture these guys listening to this black and white song. What? Calafiori. Okay, so Giuntoli, he knows what he's doing, okay? He knows what he's doing. You back up on this. But what I was going to say about the whole Calafiori thing, what on earth did he do to his beautiful hair? Yeah, shocking stuff.
Jealous girlfriend.
Hanging out with Berna too much, I think. Jesus.
Oh my God, man. That is just, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Listen, with Calafiori, there was a hope that was kind of renewed. Today, obviously, I think put to rest because it's close to done with Arsenal, okay? And that was Skira coming out with it. But honestly, I was consistent with this. The tweets are out there. Would Giuntoli have gone back in on Calafiori? Let's say the price dropped and got back there. Do you think he would have gone back for Calafiori?
I don't think so.
Or Omer? No? Trim?
I want to say yeah because I was so adamant that I thought the deal was going to fall through based on just Bologna like asking for a lot, and it didn't seem like Arsenal was willing to meet it. But obviously, we all know they had the cash. It's just they were trying to hold out for the best possible deal. But yeah, like the more that we talk about it, obviously I'd be talked into saying like, no, like you can see Giuntoli, like you said, it's just, he's one of those guys that's like, okay, we're negotiating on my terms and and it's my club. Like any player wants to come in, okay, these are the deals to the contract. Like you said with Rabiot, if he doesn't want to take them, we move on. Calafiore and Bologna, same thing. This is what we think is fair for us. If you don't want to go for it, okay, we've got other targets like Todibo, right? So now let's hope that opens that door and we can solidify that deal once we make a sale. And but yeah, no, I think he wouldn't have gone back on it.
Yeah, and Omer, what makes you think he wouldn't have? Same thing, the deadlines, the type of agreement that they pulled out on.
The same thing I said about Rabiot. Once the moment has passed and he didn't accept the offer, that's where he drew the line and said, okay, I'm moving on. I'm not going to hang around and see how things go with Arsenal. And it seems like Todibo is like the main target. So that's what I believe. It was already done like 2 weeks ago. They were off Calafiore.
And the other thing is, the main thing is that agreement with Todibo. All right. So, and again, sending a message. I think he's sending messages loud and clear and putting everyone on notice. Giuntoli has. I would have seen this one as yet another message. The player had an agreement with us, Calafiore. He had no problems turning on that immediately. The second Arsenal came in, even though Arsenal really still doesn't make sense to me, but that's a whole separate issue. Maybe for AJC Extra on Playback TV, okay? But nice little plug there, eh? Fuck, I'm getting good at this. Now, we get to the Bologna side of things. With the rumors were true, agreement in place on the price, then all of a sudden they jack it, and I don't blame them for that. However, from a Juve standpoint, they're looking after their interest. Giuntoli looks after ours. All right? So, yeah, I get it. You guys can get money. You backed out. You pulled out. Okay, that's fine. But we went this way, and now we're sticking this way. And it goes more to say with the agreement with Todibo. I don't want Giuntoli to put out personal agreements with players and then back out, and just push that away, because that's kind of a fine line too. We kind of have, well, if the rumors were true, one of that floating around with Samardzic, because there were rumors that there was agreement reached there with that player and whatnot. Will Juve be doing anything there? The rumor is Milan is all of a sudden going to step in. But again, you've made an agreement with Todibo. He makes sense. It is definitely not a massive downgrade like some of the fans put out from Calafiore to Todibo. I'm sorry, you guys. I didn't really see Calafiore for 50. I did want Calafiore. I still somewhat prefer Calafiore to Todibo, but I have no problems with Todibo. I put them very, very close in terms of the signings. And Calafiore, one good year, one strong year, but the kicker there would be the connection with Motta, where he had that strong year. So I actually think the Arsenal thing's going to hurt him in the long run. Okay?
Yep.
And maybe we pick him up on the cheap moving forward. Who knows? But Todibo, I like it. This time next week, are we going to have Todibo and Coop Miners at Juve this time next week? Let's put a little wager out there. Are we going to see that?
I think at least one of them. It seems like based on today's news that Sule is very close to being sold. So yeah, once someone is sold, we'll definitely see an immediate signing. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Trim, are we going to have both by next weekend?
Not both, no. We'll have one. But the thing is, I'm flip-flopping back and forth. My heart's telling me Coop, but my head's telling me it's going to be Todibo, because we have the negotiations with Nice kind of wrapped up in the sense that we have such a good relationship with them. I still feel like, as much as I feel strongly about us getting Coop, it's just we're dealing with Atalanta, and they're just going to keep holding out as long as possible. So I feel like if we see one of them sign and come in by this time next week, it'll be Todibo.
It's interesting.
What's his name stays in Italy, Hoysen. If they get both those deals by this week, then we'll see both signings.
Yeah.
Depending on the numbers from Sule, you get very, very close to taking care of both pieces of business. You get very, very close depending on the numbers that they get from Sule. But this is interesting because Coop, there's nothing going on with Coop. Like, it's us. It's the agreement there in place, and he's, there. I believe he's now recovered from his injury, and everything's good. There's nothing else there. So it very well could be, even though we think that the first sale immediately goes to Cope Miners, it could very well be Todibo because they have this comfort level, I think Giuntoli does, in the fact that Coop will come when we're ready and we wrap up that deal with Atalanta. So it might actually be Todibo, or do we get a couple? Do we get enough deals across the line to get these things done? I don't think they'll be at Juve by next weekend, but I think the deals will be one will probably be done by next weekend. And I think the other one will be in progress of getting finalized this time next weekend. If I had to put a guess on it, all right. And Sule, one of those deals that is going to have to fund things. Man, he is extremely close, okay? And Leicester's ramping things up, and so is Roma. And the latest rumor is that Roma's going to step up to 30 million with add-ons. And that's what Juve wants. They want to be base 30 million, and then the add-ons on top of that. I still stand firm, and this is the tough part, because we need a sale. We need a sale, and we need to move on and start getting these bigger targets. Sule and his agent technically have the power right now on how hard Juve can kind of push and dictate things. I believe 100% Giuntoli wants to sell him abroad. But if he wants Roma, this is what makes things a pain in the ass for Giuntoli and Juve. I stand firm. Roma, you want him? It's 35 million base. Bottom line. Ain't
I
no
have
favors.
no issues with it. Todibo is doing the same to Nice. They already had an offer from West Ham, and he said, no, I want Juve. It's fine. I'm not holding anything against Sule for that. He wants Roma. He wants to stay in Italy. Completely fine. They'll have to figure it out. I guess they will figure it out eventually, because Juve need the sales, and Roma need him to start the season with them already. I think a lot is going to happen this week. Once the first sale happens...
It's not about Sule. It's about Roma and the clubs in Italy.
Yeah.
No favors. 35, that's your price. Step up. They have Leicester right there, but this is what makes things difficult, because the players will seemingly is Roma. And he could shut all of it down if we don't work with him as well. And that's the part that really pisses me off. But I'd like Giuntoli to make it clear and just be like, you know what? 35 mil, he's yours. Okay?
Yeah.
But we'll see. 30.
I want a resale on that deal.
No, I was just going to say, I want a resale.
Roma can't keep their talents. If he does great at Roma, he will be sold in a season or two. I want a resale.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the finalization there, but it looks like it's all set to go there. The interesting thing is Sule is on that list for Germany. Right. So, so he did find himself on that forward list going to Germany for the preseason, which is a little bit of a surprise. We'll go through that list later, but most of the guys that are on deals kind of are being held away. What's interesting, going back to the Bologna thing, is Giuntoli rejecting the loan with obligation on Rugani. I absolutely love it. Good. Straight up purchase. You want him? Straight up purchase.
I want him to say, if anyone in Italy wants him, it's 5 million. Bologna, that's 15.
Yeah, exactly. Like triple, double it, and that's it.
Yeah, you know what? Like, how big of a pinch are we in to move Rugani? Not a ton of capital there, depending on the numbers you get, but like at what was expected, there's not a ton there. So just play hardball, make their life a living hell like they do for us on all of our transfers. Okay, I like it. I agree. Let's play some hardball. All right, now in terms of Chiesa, The rumors were we're selling Sule and Chiesa. You guys have known based on my videos what I've been saying. Like I'm just not buying the fact that we want to sell both of these guys. So I'm calling bullshit. Like, I just don't see it. Do you guys believe we're actually going into this with intentions of selling both Sule and Chiesa?
No, I told you in the group chat like 2 weeks ago that I think Chiesa is going to survive this summer, and he's not going to leave.
Yeah.
Eventually, that's where I stand. I don't see both of them leaving.
I just, there's too much around. Like these other names, if we're saying, Chiesa, it's the salary, it's not renewal, you got to sell him, but there's no real solid interest. There are rumblings now, some other teams that could potentially come in, but I just don't see it happening. All signs are pointing, honestly, and this is where it comes in with Giuntoli coming in too hot. Because we brought up the scenario. Why won't Giuntoli revisit now that he's got no offers, like essentially, other than the one from Roma? Why not revisit that bridge now? And you have a little bit of leverage before you take away your leverage by selling another forward, one that could play a part. Why not reapproach it now and say, hey, 1-year renewal, and let's keep it the same? Because you can't bring a guy down. It's hard to bring a guy down on funds, but why not revisit it now? Is Giuntoli being too stiff there by not revisiting that maybe?
I don't know if he's not revisiting that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Chiesa is still on vacation. He has his wedding planned for tomorrow, I believe. I don't think they even talked about anything concrete since the Euros. Maybe since the Euros began. I think it's still at the same point it's been before the Euros. And one of the news that came out today was that Inter are actually going to wait till January and then sign Chiesa on a free. How do you feel about that? If that's the way it's going to go?
If he goes there, then I have absolutely no problem in our decision this entire way because it tells me everything.
I will extend him at least, just a bridge here on the same salary if that's what it takes. Obviously, we can't replace the entire roster in one summer, and if Chiesa is the one you have to keep and give him another contract like you did with Rabiot last season, it's not the worst thing in the world, to say the least.
Yeah. And Alex P saying, why should Giuntoli change how he's doing business, especially for somebody like Chiesa who hasn't earned better pay? Well, I said the same pay. I said 1 year actually makes sense for Juve as well. If you're looking at Sancho, which I'm open to, I have no problems, but financially, that doesn't really make any sense on the backside of Chiesa if you're talking finances.
Right.
Because Sancho's got a crazy salary. It really doesn't make sense. And then all of a sudden, if we're taking a look at Adeyemi or we're taking a look at Jagrova, I know I'm picking Chiesa over those guys.
Yeah.
So for me, it's either the relationship is completely broken or the 1-year renewal is a good safety net for Juve. And to be honest, shouldn't really change or affect anything from Chiesa's perspective. If anything, it gives him an extra year at money he may or may not get somewhere else based on what we're seeing through the window.
Yeah, so, what if we do same salary 1 year renewal? It seems pretty fair all around. And I mean, the guy's got a lot on his plate right now in terms of the wedding and vacation, all that. Who's to say that they already haven't kind of behind closed doors talk about it, right?
It was good from the get-go. It was fair from the get-go. It's more than fair now.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's more than fair now. I just don't want to see us in a situation where Sule leaves. We move Chiesa too, and the list, unless there's a surprise name there that we don't know about, that all of a sudden comes in and completely changes my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But that Galeno, I'm telling you right now, that's not it for me. There are some fans that say, oh, I'd be fine with Chiesa leaving if we get Galeno. I'm not one of them.
No.
And that's another 30 to 40 million deal. He'll be less on salary, but I don't know. And Berardi, please.
We're
Guys,
not talking
please.
about him.
I just think this is, again, this is a situation where both sides don't really have it clear on the back end of it, you know?
Yeah.
There's no real names that are striking me like, okay, yeah, we move. One of Sule or Chiesa has to remain, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Stick it to it. Stick it to it. Sounds like you guys are as well. Another day, I already dished one out to Bologna, but another day, okay? And this time, oh yeah, I'm targeting you, squared up, Weston McKennie, okay? Nico Skira with the reports that Weston McKennie, Juve's working on a solution for him as he wants a Champions League team. Like Villa?
I hate that report. Every time I hear it from any player, I'll go there if they play in the Champions League. Get there by yourself.
Aston Villa? This guy, okay? And I had a discussion. Somebody came at me, and supporter of the show, okay? I have no problems with this individual. We get along great. And we were just back and forth, having a back and forth about McKennie. And he said, well, he just heard he was out of the project. And when I said, heard he was out of the project? Listen, okay? This guy, just out of the project, he was shopped 3 seasons consecutively. That involves previous management in the 3 years. And then the Intermana with the just joined Giuntoli, and now again this year. If he has just been struck by the fact that he thinks he's just out of project now, Jesus Christ, I don't even know what to say. How could you just be caught by that right now? Okay? I said it the entire time. 3 years you've been shopped consecutively. Aston Villa was the best team that came in for you. Okay? Checked all the boxes off. And you said no. And now I don't like the report of Juve is working on it. No. After the Villa deal broke down, hey, Wes, you and your agent, you work on the solution, okay? And you come back to us and let me know what you find. Otherwise, next gen's waiting for you next season, okay? There. And that's how I feel about it.
We can take it. We can take it because it's not like a Rabiot has the highest salary in the squad.
No, he's on like 2.5.
Yeah.
And honestly,
we can afford him sitting on the bench. If that's what he likes, fine, let's play that game. We can afford it.
Yeah, I'm not working on it. We worked on it. We had a good deal. We had the best deal you've seen in 3 years.
Great.
And if you want to stay here and you're not part of the project, well, the next project for you becomes next gen.
I got a project for him and a Champions League side for him, but it's a CONCACAF Champions League. It's called Inter Miami. So
yeah,
he can have fun
there you go.
with
CONCACAF Champions League.
It's Champions League, so it counts.
It's infuriating, man. It's infuriating to hear that. You know, it's infuriating to hear that. Okay, I understand sentiments about him playing a good season last season. Okay. But if you're still not part of the project, you're just not part of the project. You know? Like, what do you do? Okay, yeah, you had a strong season. So you had a good project come for you in Aston Villa.
That's what I don't get. Like,
you said
for
no.
Emery, yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, it was all lining up for him to actually go to a really good spot and play for a good manager, a good team. Like, I don't know.
Is he going to get a good season like he had last season again? That's still a question mark too.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't seem like he's going to play that much anyway with everyone we have on the roster.
Exactly. He's going down the totem pole with each freaking player that joins. So it's a no-brainer, but he infuriated me with that. I will say this, okay? Yildiz kept out of the Germany list, okay? Probably have something to do with the surgery he had, I would suspect, for the septum there. Okay, nasal surgery. Apparently, we have quadrupled his salary. Okay, to 1.2, 1.3, something like that for this renewal. And he wants more, is apparently what's coming from that. The number 10 he did not request, that was issued to him by Juve, apparently is going to be issued to him as part of this contract renewal. But he wants more than that, believes he's worth more than that. Does this strike anybody a certain way when you hear about that he wants more than that 1.3?
No, I'm not even buying it. I think the report I've seen came from Corriere dello Sport newspaper. I think it's just for clicks and some rumblings. I don't buy it yet. We'll have to see. Maybe I'm wrong, but still, it doesn't sound logical to me, considering what we've seen from Yildiz, the words he said, the words the club said about him. Seems like just media propaganda for just destabilize things a bit. It's Mercado time, so we've seen tons of these already, and only mid-July. I'm not buying it yet, but let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, and like, what are we talking exactly? Like, he wants more than, you said it was 1.3 is what they offered him, so he wants more than that. What are we talking, like 1.5? Like, if he's asking for like 2+ million, then I can understand where there's a little bit of an issue there. But I don't know. To me, it's something doesn't add up. And I mean, the guy wants to be here, obviously wants to wear the number 10 shirt, try to represent like his idol, Del Piero. So, I mean, yeah, well, if we're splitting hairs, if it's a couple 100,000, then, it shouldn't be an issue. But I think the 1.3 is more than fair, but just depends on exactly what he's asking for. And if that comes out, then we'll see. But yeah, I don't really buy it. I agree with Omer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, I do kind of buy it, though. To be honest. I do kind of buy it. You guys, it's hard for me sometimes because of how much we love Yildiz and are wanting him to be this thing for Juve, okay? But, like, I look at this. His contract has already been renewed once by Juve, okay? And there was pressure coming from rumors, and some of those rumors coming from credible sources, okay? Mirko Di Natale being one of them, that there was pressure to get him into that first team, or he was looking elsewhere. And I don't think it's coincidence that you saw renewal, you saw him sped through Primavera, through Next Gen, and finding his way into the first team. I'm not saying it's not warranted or it's not from merit, okay? But I am saying it's something to look at. It's something worth questioning there. The number 10, we always have this discussion and everything, and I think, when it's not earned, or I feel it's not earned, I feel like you're putting guys at a certain spot. So while earlier on the show, we're talking about Giuntoli sending a message, being consistent and holding guys accountable and just, hey, it's whatever's for the club's best interest. This is a situation that might contradict that. If we start to give a 19-year-old that, in my opinion, hasn't done sweet fuck all to merit, what might potentially happen to him in terms of where we're putting him on and label him on focal point and doing all. It's cool to get hyped out about a young guy, but there's also, drawing a line in the sand and being like, this is a little bit too much. I said it on the last show. The comparisons to Del Piero getting the 10 when he did to Yildiz are completely not on the same level for me whatsoever, based on what Del Piero showed through the 93-94 season in comparison to what Yildiz has shown up until this date. It's not even close for me. Okay? This is a flat-out marketing thing, but they run the risk of doing thing like this and maybe putting a guy's fucking head like this through it. So I'm a little weary over this. I just think pump the brakes. Take it easy. How much more money? Let's find out, But I'm keeping close tabs on Kenan Yildiz. That's all I'm saying. It's worth.
I still do have big hopes for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. Like at the at the point you were just saying, I want to give it a bit more time, see the way he acts on the pitch in training, hearing some more interviews. Um, but yeah, we will be looking after him because we look after every player at Juve. We analyze everything they say, and this is not an exception. And we'll have to see how it plays out. But for me, I think it's a bit of media propaganda more than anything right now. And the
Well,
marketing, I mean, that's not on him. That's the club pushing for it.
we'll see. We'll see how it's gonna fall in. So to Juve, yeah, if we're going to lock Yildiz in longer term, it has to be at our price, not because he's putting pressure and no one thinks he should have the 10. There are many that feel he does. There are many waiting for the 10, but for me, it's just part of the culture thing. And I do like what Giuntoli's doing for the most part. And I do think it plays a big part in reestablishing that culture by setting a tone from the club's perspective that everything's going to be on mostly our terms. And we won't just give in to anybody, no matter who you are. Higher paid guys or the younger up and coming guys. Our terms have to be in line. And I like that and I respect that. But we have to keep it level and consistent, no matter if it's a player the majority may not like, or if it's a player that the majority loves. We have to keep it consistent. And that's why I'm kind of keeping tabs on all this. Now, storm the barn, everybody. It's time. Fire away. But I got one for you guys, and it's, should Juve have gone in on Morata? Should we not have let that one slip away? Thoughts on Morata? And we're going to kick this one off with Trim.
100% yes.
We should have, hey?
Yeah, he was ripe for the taking. I mean, okay, the only thing is the salary. Like, I understand Milan, I think, offered him 5 per year, so that's quite a bit, obviously, for a backup rotational number 9. But I don't know. I mean, I still think he's got a lot of game left. He didn't. I don't think he scored any goals at the Euro, but he did contribute. He's versatile. He can play kind of pretty much anywhere up top there. Yeah, I would have liked to see it, but from some of the other targets that were rumored to be looking at, like for example, a Retegi, like I'm pretty interested and curious to see if we can maybe land him as a solid backup option. But yeah, no, I would have liked to see them try to push for Morata. It didn't seem like they were even interested because there were no reports. So yeah, I would have definitely tried to go in for him.
Yeah, it's one of those. It looks like a good split. We've got it going on a poll right now. Omer, where are you at?
I would not have minded Morata on the roster. I just maybe because the lack of just strikers in general in Europe, like there aren't any good options. And like if Dushan leaves, like who can you bring in right now? And he's might not even be top 10 in the world right now. So Morata is kind of a like guarantees something, I guess. But Milan needed a striker much more than Juve. I don't think Juve were even in the running or interested. I would not have minded him in the roster, but it's not the be all end all. There are other options out there. It's the price mainly that made it seem logical to us. Like Retegi would probably cost more, maybe lower salary, but would probably cost more.
Yeah, that's the trade-off.
Yeah, so I don't know. We're always talking about all these returns and stuff, and that would be the third time. I don't know. I don't think anyone would be a rotational player this season because of the amount of matches we are going to play. Everyone will get their fair share of playing minutes. But still, I don't know. I'm kind of torn about it.
This is interesting. So
I think Milan is the place for him right now.
58% say no. It's tight.
Wow.
It's tight. Okay, so 58% no. Juve should not have signed Morata. I'm the same as I was there. The fee is cheap fee. Okay, the salary. That's where it would have to make sense, and I'm not sure that Morata would drop down enough to where it would have to be to make sense for our backup. so to speak. Is it going to make sense for Retegui? Yes, it will make sense. His salary. We can increase his salary and he'll still fall right in line with a backup salary on this current Juve roster. I'm going to ask this question now, okay? And switch it up. Between Retegui and Morata, you had to pick one of them. So let's say, yeah, the terms are all there, deals there, whatever. You have to pick pound for pound one of those guys to come into this Juve now. So if you said we should have signed Morata, Trim, Retegui's there as well, are you still sticking with Morata and taking him over Retegui?
And salary is not his salary right now at Milan.
Everything's decided. Yeah. Everything's fine.
Oh, man.
It's straight up. You can have one or the other in a vacuum.
Well, see, I'm going to contradict myself now because I'm going to say Retegui, but it's only because it's something different and he's younger. So that's the only thing, right? Like Morata at our terms would have been great in my eyes because he's a rotational piece that he's got experience. But Retegui's intriguing because he's up and coming. He's had, pretty decent start to his career, and he's younger and he's new, something fresh, something different, right? Like I'd just be curious to see what he could offer. Okay. Yeah.
Omer, same question.
No, I'm on the other side of the fence in terms of quality and what we need right now. I mean, come on, it's not even a comparison between Retegui and Morata. That's the captain of the winning team of the Euros. He's not like a 36-year-old. He still has, I believe, 1-2 years left in him at top level. For what Juve needs right now, that would have been an easy fit. And it's something we can address later. Like, it's not a pushing matter.
I'm saying based on how Morata plays, makes sense for Motta too. It really, really does. I just think that was a cheap move. If the salary was in line, I think is one we should have really, really looked at, because right now, Retegui's that's a healthy price tag for Retegui, man. Even 40 mil. Like, I don't even know if I'm comfortable there with the guy. I like Retegui. I think he's got potential, whatnot, but I can't put him there with Morata right now. Like, I just can't.
No, to get that deal done, I would include a counterpart. I wouldn't pay the cash for him, for Retegui. I'd try to add someone in there because Genoa's been rumored to be interested in a few of our players. So I wouldn't do the straight 40 or 35, whatever they want cash. I would add a counterpart in that for sure.
Yeah, but it's a tough one. It's interesting to see where everyone stands, and I definitely wanted to pull this in the live because it's so split. And so far the Retegui rumors are out there, and that Juve's looking at it. We just have to wait and see, everybody. All right, but Storm the Barn, we're gonna get things rocking here. And reminder: get the likes up, everybody. Okay, let's go. Matteo coming in here. Do you guys have a local club, hometown club, or just any club other than Juve in the world that has a soft spot in your heart? Guys, any other club?
No, there are clubs I like for periods of time. Like I absolutely loved Valencia back in the day when they had this David Villa, David Silva. I loved watching them. There was a time I loved Atletico when they had like Aguero and Forlan. They had some great players out there. But it's only Juve for me. There are nice clubs that I like watching here and there that have good players or good squads, good managers, but no one I follow as closely as you.
Yeah. Trim?
In terms of like worldwide, I would say no, just Juve. But obviously, as you know, like Toronto got an MLS club back in the early to mid 2000s. So obviously following Toronto FC, and I know Matteo, that's where he's going with it because we're obviously both supporters of them as well. It's just nice to see them do well. But again, it's just like more domestically, so it kind of ties into the local club. But no, as a whole overall, it's always just been Juve for me. That's for sure.
Yeah. Sampdoria coming in here from Salvatore. Matt says Juve only 100%. 5 generations of my family. Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Alex P, local club. Levski Sofia. Crystal Palace. Going to Premier League game of theirs in February. Nice. Enjoy. Giratina 70 saying also TFC as well. For me, there's definitely no other club. There's no other sport I even follow. Okay, so for me in football, in terms of football, it's not other clubs, but it's just the game itself that I love, and I will watch other clubs. I will watch other games. Like, I watch quite a bit of football. In terms of support, I was born in Ontario. I support all the Toronto teams. So MLS, TFC, I will support. Do I follow or support anywhere near Juventus? There's no other team on or sport on the planet I follow as in depth as Juve. All right. If I had to say there's a close second for me, it would probably be Green Bay in the NFL that I follow, as close. And the gap is massive from how intense I follow Juve to Green Bay, but they're next up.
Okay, so let's switch it up with the question: was there an Italian team that's not Juve that you secretly actually liked?
No, I can't stand any of them.
Okay,
I've got one.
I'm kidding. I'm
it's pretty
kidding.
straightforward.
I've got
I'm
one.
kidding.
I've got one, but it's like I don't really have like my family's from there, so it makes sense. They always tried to push it on me growing up because that's where the family's from. But Regina, because we're from Reggio Calabria, both my parents. But again, I never really had that tie to it. I've always been a Juventino since day one, so like I kind of do follow them. And at one point, they were a couple years back, they were up in Serie B and actually almost going to stay up, but financial issues last year, they got kicked back down to D, and the rest is history. So now we're just kind of following along on the backside. But yeah. And then I was just gonna say, you tied in the Green Bay. Like, I didn't know if we were going like other sports, but like, I mean, for me, Al, this, like, growing up in Canada, hockey fan, been a diehard Maple Leafs fan all my life. So I mean, like, those are Maple Leafs and Juve have been my two teams. So yeah, I would say I follow Juve more closely now than I do the Leafs, but just that's always been in my blood,
Cosenza, baby. The
Lupi.
Cosenza.
Yeah.
Cosenza.
The ACC.
But honestly, I do feel one from Norbert there in terms of Parma. I did have a soft spot for Parma back through the 90s there, and then obviously just kind of faded, whatnot. But Parma was definitely one of those sides. Outside of that, a little bit, not anymore, but there was a time a little bit Roma, to be honest with you.
Really?
Like I had a little bit of a soft spot for Roma, and I think it was a lot of it was like Totti, just based because Totti and Del Piero for me growing up were kind of like my guys, right? So a little bit of a soft spot there, but don't worry, everybody, it faded past. It was more like a rash.
I had gotta come clean. Milan, back in the 2000s, that team with Kaká, Seydorf, Pirlo, Gattuso, Nesta,
Exactly.
I mean, those are top tier players. I actually liked watching them. Hard. I mean, okay, maybe for me, hard not to like Ancelotti, and that's the worst. I kind of like Lazio in the early 2000s with Nedved and Veron and Crespo and Nesta. That was a very good team.
And I gotta say, it's like watching them play, etc. Not like I was supporting or whatever, but like enjoyed watching them play. And like I always respected Milan, but Kaká was just incredible to watch. Like, Kaká was phenomenal. So I did enjoy watching their games. We'll keep her moving here. Which players do we still need to add for this team to be competitive next season? For me, it would be Coop, Couto, Todibo, Zhigrova, Sancho, and a striker similar to Xerxes to rotate with Duchamp. To be competitive? I don't know. I think that's a lot.
Yeah, that's like
Um,
100 million right there.
that's a lot. I think we're going to
Mhm.
be competitive based on if we land Coop. We land Coop, we're going to be competitive. We land Todibo, bonus. But we're going to be competitive. Like, I have no doubts we're going to be competitive already with what we
Yeah.
have. There's no doubt in my mind. If we're competitive through a mess that we've seen, you know, even like last and everything that's going on, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to be competitive next season. I don't think the list needs to be that intense for me personally. What do you guys think? That's a big list.
Yeah, that's too big for me. I don't see this many players coming in. So
What's
let's
a
say Coop
perfect?
with the ball.
Let's kind of twist that question. What's a great ending for you for this Mercado where we're at right now? What's a great ending for you?
So
And
let's
let's
say
consider
we.
guys that are on the cusp of maybe leaving. Like, what's a perfect finish for you?
So let's say Coop and Todibo are already kind of guaranteed. Those signings already happened. I still want another striker. Don't know who though, but I want someone else. I think another piece like someone who's been good under Mota. Like I wouldn't cry about it if it would be or Cellini or Salamakers, where you could actually take something out of them and make them better than they actually are. But beyond that, maybe Couto, maybe that defender. That's about it. I think the
Okay.
midfield is sound. Yeah, that's about it.
Trim, what's a great, perfect closeout scenario for you?
So 4 targets total. Todibo, Coop, for sure, those two. And then backup striker or rotational striker. And then I would like and hope for another fullback, potentially on the right side, since we brought in Cabal as a potential left back rotational piece and center back rotational piece. But if we bring in Todibo, I think he's going to stick more to the left side Cabal, which is great because he can rotate in and out with Cambiaso. So, someone on that right side, whether it's Kuto or whether it's another target that we may not know of, that could potentially be the surprise that I know you had a source reach out to you and mention that we're in for a surprise, Al. So who knows? But yeah, those four targets for sure are the ones that I think would just kind of be the icing on the cake. But I still think we're competitive with what we have right now. But doesn't mean we're going to stop adding. I think we'll add at least 2, hopefully 4 pieces.
Yeah. We've got, for me, Coops for sure. Coops a
Yeah.
must. And I've been steady with that one, consistent with that one. Cope Miners, 100%. Dodibo, I could even get away with us not bringing in, to be honest. Like, I'd be okay, but I want them. So bring me those 2. Outside of that, I would look at keeping Chiesa. I would look at adding Zhigrova, okay? And I'd probably keep Milik, to be honest, around because up in the attack, we're splashing money on guys I'm a little uncertain of. I don't know. Like it's kind of getting iffy up top there. But he's out of the project, so you got to bring in somebody. Okay, well, Retegi, if we make it happen, I think that's a solid finish.
Yeah.
Solid finish. Coop, Toribo, Retegi would be a lot, but the money, we got to figure it out. In terms of the transfers so far, I think I was looking at it, and it's I think we've spent 50 more so far million in terms of our expenditures versus what's come in, but it doesn't really matter, and it's not like 100% because you have to factor in the book value that goes against it, right? So we have where are we at here? 24, 25. I thought I pulled it up and I was looking at the breakdown. 39, sorry. So like 40 million is where we are in terms of the difference between income and expenditures. Income 50.2 million, expenditures 89.4. Okay. But of course, you have to factor in terms of amortization on those incoming and everything. So the books are actually good. and the salaries that we've saved so far are actually all positive. It's all actually good. So again, a lot of people look at incoming versus expenditure, and you look at these moves. Where are we going to have the money? 60 for Coop, 30 for Retegi, etc., 40 for Toribo. Amortization is big. That's what actually hits your books for the year. So, like I said, a move like Sule, depending on what it finalizes for, actually could almost complete not just Coop, but Toribo. All right, depending on where it finishes. It gets you close. It's not going to finish both, but it gets you close because of that amortization. But it's interesting. It's interesting to look at. In terms of the next Storm the Barn, let's keep it rolling, everybody. Let's keep it rolling. What do we got here? Letting go. So if we're letting go... Oh, sorry, I almost missed one. If we don't get Coop, should we go for Samardzic? Sure, but should it be Goodmanson instead?
Yes. I don't know, something's starting to feel off about Samardzic for me. It was first the Inter deal that broke down, then the links with Juve, but nothing happened. Then it was Napoli, now it's Milan. I don't know, something is off with maybe his agent. I don't know, but something doesn't quite add up. Yeah.
It's another player with
He's
family representation. You guys know how I feel about family representation.
Yeah. I don't know, something is off with him right now. He's
a good player. I'm not
saying, yeah.
I like Samardzic. I really do. Mm-hmm. I'm questioning Goodmanson as well, though. But in a vacuum, everything else outside scenarios, all this outside of it, whatever. But did Goodmanson won his case? Did he not?
No idea.
He didn't.
No idea. I've been following Juve too closely. I have no idea what happened.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I still like Samardzic, but he's a huge drop from Coop.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big drop.
It's even drop from Goodmanson. I think Goodmanson is a better player.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, neither guy comes close to Coop, but if we had to choose, I'd probably lead towards Goodmanson, actually. I really like Samardzic as well, but that would be like late in the window kind of signing, maybe like before the first week of the season.
If we are letting Morata and Samardzic go to Milan, I'm pretty sure that Giuntoli has alternative players in mind to bring to Juve. What do you think? Oh,
100%.
Definitely. I think he has like a list of 10 players for each position, and it just goes down the list when someone becomes unavailable.
Going back to like Giuntoli and how he's operated, how great was the story around Di Gregorio? You know?
Yeah.
Galliani's like, awesome. It was one phone call. It was like, he's mine. We'll talk money later. What a boss move.
Yeah, it's awesome.
You know?
And he said that to Galliani. Galliani understands it.
Oh, yeah.
That's how things work.
You know, like, this guy, Giuntoli's just, he's a touch to the old school. He's a touch to the old school, man, and I love it. I'm here for it, man. And I don't know, like, just for me, he hasn't put a foot wrong so far in this window. He hasn't. All this stuff that we were hearing over the past few years about, oh, we can't move these guys. There's no value. We can't do this, whatever. He's finding a way. And through some of the feelings like we're talking about today, and like the headline is, you know, coming in too hot. Are they coming in too hot? Well, somehow, some way, he's got these out of project guys seemingly looking for alternatives. Szczesny, I don't think is going to be a problem. And I think he's going to go. It's just a matter of him finding where he wants to do and deciding. Kostic is actively seeking a new club with his entourage. Rumors are now McKennie is opening. Ma chi disgraziato, okay? So anyways, McKennie now. Rugani is looking, trying to find some. So it's somehow, some way, you know, whether he's coming in hot or not, he's getting these guys to kind of accept it and trying to find something. Arthur, the latest rumors are that that's going to be difficult, okay? Arthur was always going to be difficult. Let's see. That would be a big feather in his cap if he could find a move finalizing for him. But That's going to be a tough one. Arthur's been a nightmare since he's come because it's either he doesn't agree with the teams that want to take him outright or whatnot, and then it just ends up being a loan. So let's see. But so far, Giuntoli definitely has a plan. You could see it. And I don't think he's getting swayed. Like, he seems to just be focused, dead on, and not afraid, the biggest thing, to move on. Not afraid to move on and just say, too bad, so sad for these clubs afterwards. Fine with it. Can you give a percentage if the following player will join Juventus? Coop, Todibo, Sancho. Let's play the Monblano game.
Let's do it.
Let's play the Monblano game, all right? So we're going to kick things off with Coop Miners, and I'm going to say percentage. Omer, what's your percentage on Coop coming?
I would say 95%.
Ooh.
I think that the only thing that's missing is the money. That's it.
Nice.
Okay. Trim, what's your percentage on Coop?
Okay. Let's go. I'll go 90%. So just a little bit lower, but in the majority, we are going to land them.
Okay. 100%.
Nice.
100%. Giuntoli will not miss on Coop. I'm saying nothing's 100%, so let's go 99.9%, okay? I'm 99.9% Coop will be landed. Okay, I'm not buying into this Atalanta. We're not selling him all this. You wouldn't be actively looking for these midfielders and going to wrap up
Juve
deals.
would have already moved on if that was the case.
Yeah, and they're not. They're sticking around, so.
Yeah, so for me, 99.9%. Todibo, percentages. Omer.
I would give that 60% right now. I don't think Nice are going to be holding on for too long. They have a season of their own. There's a lot of money offered from, West Ham. You even need to find a way to break that deal fast. So, I would give it 60% right now.
Okay.
Seems solid.
Trim, percentage on Todibo?
For Todibo, I'm actually going 100% or 99.9 because I just feel like he's the next move based on a sale. He wants Juve. I know that there's other interest from West Ham and some of the other teams that Nice can pull the trigger on. But, I mean, if the guy wants Juve and we want him as well, and it just, I don't know why. For whatever reason, again, Coop's my number one target, always has been for this Mercato. But the more and more I hear about Todibo and him wanting Juve, our relationship with Nice, all it takes is that one sale. If we happen to make it this weekend, I feel like they're going to wrap it up real quick. So I'm going to go 99.9%.
Yeah, so I go with Todibo. I go 70%, maybe 65%. And the reason is this West Ham push on the back end of it, and I don't know how long they're going to wait for us.
Yeah.
Because
fair.
I still feel like I'm still leaning more towards Coop being the first wrapped up big signing and wanting to get him in like immediately.
Yeah.
And I'm weary that, the longer it goes on, that it might take on to wrap up some of our sales in order to get the business done, that could get away from us. So that's the only thing. With Sancho, I'm at like 10% Sancho. Like I don't really see it. Yeah, I don't really see it. Trim, Sancho?
I would say, I'm low too. I'm like 25%.
Okay. Omer?
Yeah, like 8.6.
Yeah, that's very specific. I like it. Very specific. All right, so there's the percentages on those guys. If we had to guess, we'll call it the Monblano game, all right? Do you believe a forward line Vlahovic, Chiesa, and Yildiz? Do you believe in and on a forward line of that? I certainly don't, from Mark 1. Do I believe in that line? I don't really have reason not to until I think the biggest question mark I have out of that is not even the wings. It's how Vlahovic is going to adapt to Motta's game and how Motta has previously used that role. That's my biggest question mark out of it. Do I believe that it would work, though? I think ultimately, and I think when you factor in the 10 role that's not represented in that forward line, and how Motta could use that to assist Vlahovic should there be a potential shortcoming in some of that role adaptation, I think it's still going to ultimately work. And I'm okay with that forward line. And I would say I believe in it. Omer.
I don't have a lot to go by. Like, the only thing I have to go by is what we've seen from Allegri, and kind of haven't seen that. It was pretty late in games where we really needed a goal. I don't know. I think it needs the connecting link there of the attacking midfielder, whoever it may be, because I mean, we've only seen them stuck way out on the touchline. Like, I haven't seen really, switching of places and movements behind the strikers, behind the defense. It was mainly trying to counterattack. I don't know if I believe in it because I haven't seen enough of it, to be honest. Because either Chiesa or Real most of the time.
Yeah. All right. So a little bit of hesitancy there. Trim, you believe in that front line?
Yeah, the easiest way for me to put it is I understand why there's hesitancy there, but at the same time, we didn't really see any or enough of it last year to really base any of our opinions on it. So what I would say is let's wait and see what happens this season with Motta, because these guys are going to be playing a totally different system. Like you said, Al, I think the biggest thing is we got to see how our striker is going to be used, and specifically Vlahovic, because he's our number 9. How is he going to play under Motta? But I would say let's just wait to see. It's kind of an unknown. It's hard to make an opinion either way, because I wouldn't base the opinion off of Allegri ball and what we saw last year, because again, we barely saw them play together. So that'll be determined this year when we see it.
It's going to be interesting. I'm just looking forward to it all the questions. I want to see them get answered and everything. Yep. Obviously we got a preseason game coming up. I think it's this coming Friday will be the first preseason game. And I just look forward to seeing a piece of it. Obviously not everybody will be a part of it, whatnot, but still just very, very excited, to be honest, to see. So the questions, let's see what happens. We'll get them answered and everything. Justin B. Why aren't people joining the army? Come mix it up. Yes, that's one way to support, all right? Subscription, memberships, all right? You got to be on a desktop to do it, but join in the fun there. It can be a wild place, but God, I love meeting everybody that's been in there, and the discussions have been top drawer, all right? A lot of great insight from the community. And again, Playback TV, in the description to this video, the link is there. New project, we're official partners with them. It's going to be AJC Extra is the room you're looking for, XTRA, but the link's there. Join us. Live shows coming up there that are more Serie A based, still heavy on Juve, of course, because we're the balls, all right? So let's go. Mark 1, if we get Coup, will there still be a place for Fagioli and Meretti? I think Meretti will be loaned if we get Coup. I said this with that whole Meretti renewal. In my personal opinion, one of him or Caviglia will have to stay. And I believe it's going to be Caviglia. I think Meretti got that extension as a nice gesture to show him we're still committed to him, but you're going to get sent out. And that's how I was looking at. Did anybody else look at that in that same fashion? Because that's how I took it, was this is going to be a nice, like, hey, you know what? We're committed to you, but we are doing this for this particular season. That's how I took it, But did you guys take it that way? Or do you think he's staying?
I don't know. I haven't really given much thought to it. Just saw renewal. I thought he was staying after the renewal. I still think a loan would be good for him. But in general, I think everyone on the roster is going to play a lot more games than we expect them to. Just because of the amounts of tournaments. Like, we have like 60 games a season before even talking about the new sort of Club World Cup. I think everyone's going to play a lot without talking about even injuries and stuff. We have like 6 midfielders. I think that's a solid number of midfielders to go into the season with. And if Meretti stays, he will get more chances than we expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, even for me, like I wouldn't be opposed to him staying, but then Hans has to go out on loan, right? And I feel like because of his age and he's been around longer, to send Hans out on loan again doesn't really make sense. So it's either outright sale or he stays with the club. So I feel like for what Miretti brings and what he can offer, I know he's versatile, can play anywhere in the middle, but he has more and better attacking attributes, if that makes sense. And I feel like we're gonna have that position solidified between Adzic coming up and down from next gen. If we add Coop Miners, right? We've heard Motta in the presser say how Louise can even be pushed up the field a bit if need be. So I feel like there's more of a place for Hans to stick around. And Miretti's young enough that for me, I look at him very similar to Fagioli. A season loan somewhere in Serie A would do him wonders, I think. He can play game in and game out. He could be a bona fide starter on any of those teams. So pick your poison. If it's Genoa and we want Retegui, you say, okay, we'll offer you Miretti on loan, 1 year loan, and lower the asking price for Retegui, or any other targets around Serie A that we may look at and want to bring in from some of these other clubs, loan them out and see what happens. So that's how I kind of look at it.
I'm looking at our mid, and going back to the main question from Mark, will there be a place for Fagioli and Miretti? Fagioli will have a place in the midfield. Yeah. He will definitely have a place. The versatility across the midfield, like I said earlier on the show, the versatility is key, and it's one of the main things standing out to me in the midfield already, and especially if you land Cope Miners. But Cope Miners, Thuram, Louise, Fagioli can play multiple spots in there. Fagioli could play anywhere in there. He's going to have room. Miretti, I think Miretti's going, and I totally took that extension as a kind of a nice gesture before that happens. Caviglia, someone's going to have to stay for the numbers. I mean, even if you bring in Coop, so you got Coop, you got Thuram, you got Louise, you got Locatelli, you got Fagioli. You're going to need at least 6, right? So unless you make another pickup, I don't see it happening. Adzic, I'm going to consider as being one of the forwards because I think he would probably be used more as a forward. And then, I'm going to say Caviglia. I think Caviglia is going to stick around. In terms of Locatelli, there were rumors today that Fiorentina is looking at trying to pick up Locatelli. Nothing's going to be happening there. All right. Nothing is going to be happening there. In terms
of rumors are he's working hard. Caviglia, like Motta likes him. He's working his ass off in training. That's the rumors coming from Turin.
All we're hearing is about the guys that are on the cusp, or that's why everybody's like, why are we not hearing about Fagioli? And maybe that's why some of these questions come up. It's because there's nothing circulating around that guy. He's staying. He's a lock, 100%. That's why you're not hearing about these guys out of camp. You're hearing about the guys that have question marks, the Mirettis, the Caviglias. You're hearing about even the Sule and whatnot. It's everyone that has some type of speculation associated to their name. So you're not going to hear about Fagioli because we all know what's going to happen, right? So he's a lock in there. That list that came out, I'm just going to read it out quick. There's not a whole lot to talk about other than what we said as far as who's not on it. No Rugani, no Hoysen, Noj, De Chilio, Milik, and Kostic. Szczesny and McKennie are still on vacation. Chiesa getting married. He's going to return to Turin to training in the next few days. And then you have Bremer, Luis, and Danilo, who are also not on that list. All right. And of course, it makes sense with all those guys based on playing tournaments and whatnot and not taking part in that preseason. Okay. So those are the guys missing on the list. The actual list for goalkeepers: Pinsolio, Di Gregorio, Perin, and Dafara. You have defenders: Gatti, Cambiaso, Cabal, Giallo, Savona, who's getting a lot of reviews there out of camp. Barbieri, Rui, you have Muharemovic, Facundo Gonzalez, and then Comenencia, who obviously was a highly touted pickup there. Midfielders: Locatelli, Adzic, Thuram, Miretti, Fagioli, and Nicolucci Caviglia. Forwards: Vlahovic, Sule, which is a surprise, Weah, Hassa, Sekulov, and then Bangula. Okay, so that's the list.
But the interesting thing
just to
here
get that out
is
of the way.
Albanese said that we're probably going to get the shirt numbers very close to the beginning of the season, but we can see some of them already here
Oh yeah.
on that page,
Mm.
which kind of surprised me. So we can see mainly Sule, number 18,
Yep.
uh, which is weird considering he leaves. I don't know.
I would stick to
Maybe,
the guys that are announced for their numbers. If you're
yeah,
planning on buying a kit right now, take it easy. Other than and
yeah. So you're
like
telling me the number one is going to stay vacant?
so, I don't know. That's why I say don't go by numbers in preseason. Don't go by preseason numbers. But one you can bank on, Taram 19, because it was announced, right? So
Yeah.
like that's safe.
I think
But
Cabal number 2, 33 or something. Cabal.
yeah, like
Yeah.
but
No, it
pump the
was
brakes if you're
32.
buying a
Jalo is
Cabal kit.
33.
So
Oh, sorry,
again,
Jello, right.
Yeah.
we'll pump the brakes there. Now, let's keep it rolling here. Let's keep it rolling. Is Ferrari getting the pole today? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Of course. Of course. Optimistic until they prove me otherwise. When is the Champions League draw schedule? I believe league phase is late August. 29th?
Yeah.
I want to say
Yeah.
29th.
There's still matches that need to be played.
Yeah, there's still
Uh,
some qualifying things and stuff going on, but August 29th, if I'm not mistaken, is the actual league phase draw,
mhm.
if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Which next gen players do you see getting minutes in the first team?
Everyone on that list, probably. I mean,
Yeah.
I believe we'll definitely see Hassa. We will see Savona, in my opinion. Maybe the midfielders wouldn't find a lot of room to play unless there are some injuries. But yeah, mainly those
Preseason
guys.
this year can be a big showcase too,
Mhm.
because we need moves and stuff too. So I don't really know at this point. Hassa needs something to get an actual extension. He is currently sitting on this automatic renewal that took place, but there's been honestly poor sounding discussions from his entourage and Juve. That needs to be sorted out. So, is this preseason a showcase for Hassa? And they've come to terms that he's just not going to stick with us? Maybe. It's very, very hard to gauge right now. Sekulov getting a mix last season, a couple call ups, one actual game I remember him stepping into. I would consider Adzic, who was labeled a next gen signing, as he's going to get minutes.
Yeah, I don't
Savana or
consider him next gen.
even Barbieri could potentially get minutes, but Barbieri could easily be sent out too. So it's a tough call right now. It's a tough call right now. Gonzalez, all signs are pointing to a loan move for Facundo Gonzalez. Gomenencia, I don't think he steps in this season, so I would say no there. It's really tough to call right now. It's tough to gauge there, Davide. Tough to gauge. Do you think Elon Musk will be our main sponsor 24-25? I seen the all
Well, I
the
hope he does.
theories out there on that and the connections everyone's trying to put in place. I haven't heard anything on the sponsor thing, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the rumors I'm hearing, nobody's got a friggin' clue. Nobody's got a friggin' clue. Okay? Ferrari, like Amazon, Elon Musk, all of a sudden, like, it's all over the place. Nobody has a clue, everybody. Okay? Nobody has a clue. But we powered through that. I'm going to leave this with you guys. Do you have anything we didn't touch on? Something you wanted to state? Something you want to say? A question? Anything? Fire away now as we get ready to say some goodbyes and sign off with another couple announcements coming out of Ride or Die. The Ride or Die Challenge.
Yes,
Anything?
I had something. I can't remember what. Again, I need to start writing this down. And no, nothing comes to mind right now. I think we've
Yeah,
covered
it's that
everything.
they say Rugani has did not leave due to physical problem recently suffered, for which he had already undergone checks at J Medical. He is on the market. The choice not to call him is for this reason. All right, there you go. There you go. Locatelli, though, in Fiorentina, eh? Old Rocco Comiso, for a guy that talks so much shit and acts so tough, really wants that Juve influence. So there you go.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Will the friendlies be on live TV? I actually don't know yet where the friendlies are going to be aired for Friday's game. I am going to try to do a watch along. Trying to do a friendly watch along, all right?
They
Get a
sometimes
first look.
broadcast them on Juve's channel on YouTube.
They
Yeah,
sometimes
they might.
put it up on the YouTube. So, that would be cool. We'll try and set something up there. All right.
How
but
about
yeah.
Moise Kean scoring a goal in a friendly and some fans saying, "Oh, look, we missed on him.
He
He got
scored?
skinned." Yeah,
He
in
already got
friendly.
a goal.
Jesus. Did he injure himself on the gritty afterwards because he hasn't done the gritty for so long? God. Good for
Might
him.
have.
Good for
Yeah.
him. You can't live your life looking in the rear view, everybody. We keep moving on, and let's see
That's
what
it.
happens. But I'm telling you right now, I'm excited. It's going to be one hell of a season, I think. And the Mercado, people forget, some people are getting worked up like it's late in the Mercado, and it is not late in the Mercado, okay? We haven't even hit August yet. Still late July. This next week for Juve could be massive. Could be absolutely massive, all right? Everybody, follow Aldo's lead. I'm going to remind you of a couple things, okay, before we get to the ride or die situation. Playback TV description, okay? Hit the link, join our room, and watch out for all the fun there. It's AJC Extra. It's everything you get here, but it is extra, okay? Serie A-based coverage, okay? And ride or die, well, Omer won the ride or die in terms of outright with Spain.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people got in there on Omer's team, all right? So, Omer, you're going to have to get the marketing up there on pulling in the teams, but that's okay.
Oh, no. I'm not
The
taking
lucky
anyone.
winner is Miran Abulfami. He wins, okay, from Omer's side. Now, the
Nice.
kicker was Old Man No-Knees there. Old Man No-Knees came up with this point system, and I said, do whatever you want to do, man. Like, you like Excel, spreadsheets, whatever, do your thing. So he came up with a point system. And the Tonys won based on points. So, Anthony, the next time we get Skanga, Mr. Skanga, on the live, he is going to pick a winner at random from the Tonys team that will be receiving a kit. Okay? So for Miran, obviously longtime supporter of the channel and everything, reach out to us. You were the winner, randomly selected from Omer's team. Okay? So reach out to us and you can decide what you're going to get for the kit. All right? Everybody, enjoy your weekends. Omer, Trim, always an absolute pleasure, you guys. Live chat, you're fantastic. Enjoy your weekends. Enjoy F1, okay? And today, what do I got on tap? It is going to be hot. Hot as hell over here. So I got to go get the kids lined up with their pool. Got them this massive slip and slide. Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
You're going to have baths. And the whole time, Papa gets to hang out in the sun, enjoying some bevies, okay? So enjoy your weekend. Take care, everybody. No matter what. Fino alla fine. Forza Juve. Ciao tutti. Take care.
Yeah.